a very good morning from wherever you are joining us from, listening or watching us on Family TV and Family Radio. Welcome to Family Matters Relationship Clinic. And today we have an incredible topic with an amazing set of guests that are joining us today to discuss a lot more about emotional intimacy. And remember that emotional intimacy serves as the heart of any meaningful relationship. And with this, then a couple or partners are able to connect at a deeper level and get to understand each other better and know how to navigate, the road of emotional intimacy without any hitches. And so today in studio, I'm joined by a very amazing experts here. I'm joined by Elder Ng'ang'a, John Ng'ang'a, karibu sana. And also with me in studio is life coach Liz Uimbia. Welcome to the studio. Karibuni sana. And my name is Sally Limo. So first things first, Elder Ng'ang'a, how long have you been married for?
Just a few years, 45 years.
45 years, just a few years.
Yes. People are celebrating 60 years and 70, so yes. 45
so
must be very low.
No, but I think compared to some of us, that's quite an achievement, and that's amazing, that's awesome. And so how has it been for you, in the 45 years of marriage, based on our topic for today?
3 things I want to say.
Yes.
Number 1, I've enjoyed the fact that I have somebody I can download all my crises at work and frustrations in my whatever I'm doing. I have somebody I can go to and open up, knowing that even if they judge me, where will they take me?
Yes.
I'm able to download everything on him, and I think I don't have anybody else like that.
Wow.
So I think that's that's one of the most important things in those 45 years.
Yes.
Somebody I can go to. Number 2, I have somebody who is not a competitor.
Right.
If I do well, she does well. It's the same bank account. So I cannot feel embarrassed about saying, hey, we've just done well.
Yeah.
I've just gotten a promotion, thinking the person will be jealous.
Yeah. Because
my promotion is her promotion, and therefore I'm able to frankly rejoice with her.
Absolutely.
About the things that are going well.
Hakuna kompe. That's what we
because
say.
The competition kills emotional intimacy.
Okay.
And that's the problem. Thirdly, which is very, very important, I have somebody who cares.
Wow.
My problem is her problem. If I get sick, her world is in trouble.
Oh.
If I'm failing, she it
also
affects
feels
her.
It. Yeah.
And I know that. So to have somebody like that, and I know that if I came late, there'll be somebody worried about my coming late.
Yeah.
That's what it means to be married.
Fantastic. What an opener. That's really amazing. Liz, your thoughts on that?
Wow, I love that because basically what John Ng'ang'a is saying is simple, that there is nothing that should bring people apart if the 3 are put at the front.
Yes.
And that
so you agree that those 3 are very important?
They're very important. Yes. Because there's nothing that can break that kind of, there's a lot of genuinity.
Yes.
There's a lot of being authentic.
Yes.
Because that makes life like, I have this pillar in my life that I know no matter what is happening around me, I can have shelter with them. I can hold on to them. And I think that is what essentially life should be.
Yeah.
And I think when God brought 2 people together, his purpose was simply that.
Yes.
Can we connect intimately together emotionally? And when we talk about intimacy, many think it's only on the life of sex matters. It's just part of it.
Right.
But emotional intelligence, emotional intimacy brings in and brings the gel and brings the glue for a better life
to foster
in the relationship and makes it something that is beautiful and wonderful. In my experience, I've seen people who started on with a lot of fire, a lot of love, a lot of intimacy. But along the way, when difficulties come, people are not able to solve, and the emotional intimacy grows off. Okay. But the one thing I've learned is that there's no way or on earth that you will never have conflict in your relationship. And secondly, there are things that will never be resolved. That is life.
Hey, this already the studio is on fire. We've hardly started, and you know, we can feel the energy, and I'm sure our listeners and our viewers can also feel, the tempo at which you're going. So we've spoken about, so whatever you're saying means whatever Elder Nganga has talked about, that is the foundation really. It's like you're building a house, and the foundation has to be deep. If not, then the house definitely would, fall.
Yeah.
So, what are the effective ways, Liz, first from you as a life coach, the expert here, the pundit, what are the effective ways of just ensuring that, you foster the emotional intimacy and you ensure it stays?
Okay. The first one is, for me, is being authentic.
Right.
Being real and being honest. Because that is what builds trust. Yes. Because I think a relationship with no trust, there's no relationship. Because I need to trust that when I open up and I'm vulnerable to you, like what Elder Nganga has said, I am safe. Yes. I create a safe space. That safe space can only be created if there is trust. Both of you are authentic. Both of you believe that the best for each other. And I know that if I'm emotionally, I'm naked in front of my spouse, I am comfortable. I know they will not...
You can be yourself.
Yes. They will not laugh at me. They will not
judge me.
They will just take me as I am. And that is one thing that is really lacking in relationships, where you're just real with that person. And for me, that is very important.
That is everything.
Yes. The second one is communication. How do I communicate to my partner? Because the moment you communicate in a way that belittles, in a way that makes the other person feels condemned, or in contempt, it's a very bad way of communicating. And at any given time...
it could be verbal or non-verbal.
Exactly.
Right?
And at any given time in a relationship, even at work, those things will happen. You'll be angry at somebody and you will say words. You will be... you will feel somebody is misbehaving or playing childish according to you, and you will say something. And even in your relationship, it will happen. So when you say it, how many times out 0 to 10 are you saying it in your relationship? If all the time you're saying at 9, at 8, for sure you're headed on the wrong direction. But if you notice that you keep saying things that trigger, that pain, that poke, that annoy, and you start reducing on it, then you'll be conscious about the things that you're saying. Because the things that your spouse will tell you in the morning or last night will ring on your mind for a very long time,
and affect, or place your mood for the whole day.
So you'll see his text or her text, and you're thinking, and the way they said in the morning, and it's normally something so simple like, why would you wear a shoe like that?
What is wrong with you?
Exactly. I love that question. What is wrong with you? We say it to our children, to our spouses, to at work, to our friends. We say that, but does it have an answer? What is wrong with you? Does it have an answer?
You have no idea what is wrong, because for you, as much as you're concerned, as far as you're concerned, you've not done anything.
You've not done anything. And what is wrong with you is really a very negative word, but we use it to our children, mainly, even to our spouses. And that's a very tough statement. And I would like our viewers, think about the many times you say, what is wrong with you? What answer are you looking for?
What are you expecting? Okay. Okay. So, Elder Nganga, you've been married for the very few years, just 45 years only, and I'm sure you've had issues here and there. From your end, how have you, been able to effectively foster the emotional intimacy with your wife?
First of all, I want to pick where my friend has gone.
Yes.
There are 3 emotional intimacy builders.
Yes.
Number one is transparency. Don't allow your spouse to discover something that has gone wrong.
Okay.
If they discover, they already have
There's no
lost,
trust.
They have lost trust.
Yes.
So if you have done something wrong, come up front and tell her.
Yeah.
She wonders, surely my husband trusts me. I will not have discovered that.
Yes.
In fact, I normally recommend during my premarital counseling
Right.
that you go for a date where you don't talk sweet nothings. You write in advance, what are issues my girlfriend can never discover unless I tell her?
Wow.
And they are such that if she knew them, she might refuse to marry me.
That's
Okay.
powerful.
Wow.
I love that. That's
And you because you can't remember, normally lovers talk sweet nothings.
Yes.
So you have to prepare with a notebook.
Yes. You have
and
an
say
agenda
the kind
for
of
the
things,
meeting.
if I were her, I would not marry me.
Yes.
Because those are the way to test
That's awesome.
whether you have that emotional intimacy possibility.
Yes.
Because after you tell her, she might dump you.
Yes.
You should be ready to be dumped. But you
So
know
you
if
go-
you are not,
you go
if
with
you
an
are not
open
dumped,
mind.
if you are not dumped,
Yeah.
it will make you go very deep.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's a first builder.
that.
Okay.
The fact that you are willing to share with me something I will not have discovered. You know,
Right.
especially you meet in Nairobi. My wife comes from Eastern Province. I
Yes.
come from Central. The relatives we don't know each other. And maybe my grandmother is a witch. Now,
You're being authentic.
there's no way they will discover because they don't come from a place. So if they, by the way, one day when I take you home, you'll discover.
Yeah.
Not far from our house is my grandmother's house, and you'll see many people come there because she's a witch.
Yeah.
She's normally. Anyway, if you don't tell her,
Yes.
when people from her village who are her friends
Will discover.
or from your village rather,
Yes.
who are her friends, when
They
they
leak
discover
the-
you're having a relationship, they say,
Yeah.
by the way, oh, you are now friends of mine. Did he tell you his grandmother is a witch? Say, what? He has never told me.
Yeah.
That could kill your emotional intimacy.
Intimacy. Yes. Yes.
So a builder is preempting what's wrong and letting the person. By the way, I did that. That must be 78. I still remember taking my girlfriend to where Hanyao Hawarais is. Used to be a hill, and down is a dam.
Okay.
And that time it was a clean place with the yacht,
Wow.
people boating.
Yes.
So it's there. Where that's when I told her, today I'm just telling you what can make you not marry me.
Yeah,
And I
that's
shared with them
being
and I said,
authentic.
don't react. Go and pray. If you feel
Think
God can
about it.
still tell
Yeah.
you to marry me, it's okay. So that's the first thing to, if you really want to grow this thing, you must have to. Number two, you must learn how to repent. Because sometimes you hurt somebody, especially what you're describing.
Yeah.
She said something and you hurt. If you don't repent,
Yes.
it is
Yes.
buried somewhere, but it's already eaten into the intimacy, even if it's not discussed.
Yeah.
Learn to put yourself in the other person's shoe
And apologize.
and apologize.
Yes.
Say sorry.
Yes.
I've written a book on friendship. It's simply called Friendship by John Nganga.
Okay.
And I say there are 3 words that can help build your relationship. One of them is
I'm
sorry.
sorry. Yeah.
And that will. Thirdly, if you really want to grow this thing,
Yeah.
be available. It cannot
wow.
happen. The language of love is time.
Yes.
If you don't have
Yes.
time for me, I don't know. In my book, I say, I quote a Kikuyu saying, "Dogone makinya."
Okay.
Proof of friendship is missing one another. If you don't miss me,
Yeah.
how will this intimacy grow? Time for me.
So love is
We-
spelled time.
The language of love is time.
Wow.
If you want to grow your intimacy, you must be available for one another. And that means counseling very important issues.
Yeah.
Just to be available.
Important issues to me that I think are important to
Yes.
me, because now you're the most important thing
Yes.
in my life.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. And I think
But I
don't
haven't
know.
answered your other question.
Yes.
But I was trying to.
Yes.
the previous one. I think
the effective.
Now looking at my life, in those 45 years,
yes,
we have had each other. You know, if you are married for 10 years, you have only had each other very few times. But if you are married for 45 years, you have had each other
so many times.
Many times.
Yeah.
The thing that has helped our intimacy is Rebecca saying, I'm sorry.
Wow.
And I say, I'm sorry. Initially, there will be a strain.
Yeah.
But when you discover that this sorry is actually genuine, the relationship is built again.
Yeah.
Number two, that also affects it is when my vision of the future and her vision are not congruent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And feels like maybe I want a green card to go to America. No, she thinks we should go as missionaries in Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
You can see those are distant.
Yeah.
Now that will eat into intimacy. And
everyone...
until you can find some direction, because you can't go one way.
A common
when
ground.
Abraham was God, Sarah had to go. You can't be married and having different directions.
Yes.
You need some congruence. So when you hear people having emotional intimacy, it's because they are in agreement on the direction the two of them are going.
Exactly.
And once in a while, you don't agree. And that eats into it. So you must pray together until God can show you what's best for both of you, and that returns the intimacy.
But Elder Nganga,
yes,
must you agree all the time? Is it possible, really, to agree all the time on everything?
I was careful. You are talking about, I have talked about major issues. There's no way one can go to Saudi Arabia and the other one to America to stay.
No,
it's over.
Definitely, there's no relationship there.
So when you disagree on small matters, that's a daily activity.
That's okay, yeah.
When you discover there's something cardinal and something minor.
Yeah, true.
Paul talks about in Romans 14, there are major issues. You should not disagree on major issues.
Yes.
Small issues,
that's fine, it's normal.
Yes.
Okay, and so Liz, Elder Nganga has spoken about being busy. You know, we are always overstretched. Oh, I'm swamped with work and all that. That is currently happening right now, and everybody's like, it's the economy. Yeah. How do you think, as an expert, what advice would you give to our listeners or whoever is watching us in regards to our life and our being busy? You know, busy, quote unquote, sometimes. Yeah.
It's very interesting because when we say we are busy, it makes us sometimes feel important. And sometimes you're saying you're busy, but you're shifting your responsibility out of the relationship so that you can focus on other things because probably you've messed up, probably there's something that is not okay, and you're not willing to look at it. I say intimacy is into me see. How are you seeing me? Are you seeing me? Are you seeing in me? Because unless you see in me, and seeing in me is that when I'm with you, you allow me to hear you. And I feel heard.
Okay.
I see you and you see me. I'm able to touch you and you touch me. Because unless that is happening, we will forever be busy doing things and not focusing on the relationship. I've been with couples who have been saying, no, we are working on a project. One is in Shags because they're working on that project, and one is in Nairobi. And so when they see each other probably a few times, and that project is extremely important. But what are you doing? How much time are you spending away from each other? And how intentional are you that you come back
and
together?
What is it doing to the relationship as well?
It's really, you know, because of course distance keeps growing and growing. Just the same way Elder Nganga has said, you can't be in Saudi Arabia and the other one is in
and
the
we're
US
in a relationship
for marriage. That can't work unless it's for a specific reason.
For 1 week.
Yes, a specific reason for a specific purpose, because sometimes it can happen that you can be in different places.
And it has a time frame,
It has a time frame, and you know how you will communicate in that time frame. So this busyness is just to make us feel important, and number two is lacking to take priority of your relationship. And what it is that if you're important to me, I will create time for you as much as I'm creating time for
the other.
Yes.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. Very interesting and fascinating discussion this morning on Family Matters Relationship Clinic. As we thank you so much, being the Customers Week, Service Week, we thank you so much for, especially to our partners who've been really of support. They've given us a lot of support to be on air, and we want to give our deepest appreciation to you from wherever you are. And also join us in this conversation on our SMS line, which is 20316. WhatsApp number is 0786 316 316, and be part of this very interesting and worth listening to or watching conversation. And back to from where we left, we were talking about, and before we went on break, I actually talked about the physical, we call it PDA, public display of affection. We've talked about everything, communication and this and that. We've not talked about that bit of physical affection. Elder Nganga, I don't know if you're able to, up to this time, do you show your wife public display of affection, or do you think it's just reserved for being at home, or I don't know?
I think it depends. This thing depends on culture.
Yes.
And one culture is not better than others. So, for example, the white man will not understand why you are not kissing the bride.
Yes.
And there are some pastors who are even forcing the bride to kiss the girl in public.
The groom.
To me, that's a very unwise pastor. The fact that your culture, you kiss publicly, and the other one kisses privately, the Bible doesn't comment on it.
Yeah.
Why are you pushing your culture on something? I think it should be made illegal for any pastor to make the bride and the groom kiss publicly.
It should be made illegal.
It should be the bride and the groom. It should be the bride and groom who can seek and say, allow us to kiss.
Yes.
Then that's okay. If they have not told you, you must find out what the culture is.
Yeah.
Similarly, even if we are all Kenyans, each family agrees.
Yes.
There are some, you may marry a shy girl who would never want to be seen by the mother.
Yes. Yeah, true.
Kissing.
True.
Publicly.
And you're there busy forcing them to kiss, and the parents are
that's
there.
a sign you don't respect her. If you respect your wife, stop it. Not because you as a man don't want to, but because this is the object of your love.
Yes.
It will give her emotional intimacy. When she knows my husband would want to do it,
yes,
but just because he loves me, he did not do it.
Exactly.
So what I'm trying to kill is the idea of trying to copy others. I'll just be sharing off break how among the Western culture, people are about to divorce. We'll drive together to the attorney who is helping with the divorce.
Yes.
Even open the door. Go to sign papers
they
to
behave
divorce.
the same way when they're married.
Such courtesy, you wonder, why can't they stay together? Now, it tells you the culture allows them to do that. But it's not better. If they are divorcing, there's nothing good about it. So we must, as Africans, not copy white culture, copy paste it onto us. Let's find a way of what as a group how do we express our love for each other? And there are ways of doing it. That's not necessarily similar to white people. If, for example, you are with your wife, and she is carrying a kiondo and a baby, the language of love is to, hiya, you will fall.
Yes.
Why don't I hold the baby
as
you carry the kiondo? You don't have to kiss her in public, but you know this man loves me.
That's an act of love.
And yet it's public.
Demonstration, actually, yes.
You are demonstrating. So my personal view is that there shouldn't be made one rule.
Yes.
And you should not ever assume that because a couple
is not hugging,
it's not hugging, it's not, or there are pastors who every sermon, they must tell you they have the most beautiful wife. Then you hear later they are running with the dogodogos. Now, and yet every sermon it's about I married the most beautiful wife, the most whatever. In fact, these days when I hear a pastor talking like that, I know there is trouble.
There's a problem.
It's a sign that they are not having a good marriage. Somebody with a good marriage doesn't have to, the wife will not need, you will not need necessarily to keep shouting for them to know. But there are things you can do that not because others do, but because you know it will be pleasing to your husband, it will be pleasing, and even it's public, and it's done publicly, that's okay. But don't copy one against the other. And then, similarly, don't start thinking there is something wrong with the people when they do it their way. As long as the two of them like it,
they agree.
And it's not going beyond, I didn't want to finish before I say that. There's some level that are wrong, in the sense that you do not want to act that you are just about to go into bedroom publicly. You know, there is a way of public display of love that is reserved for you are doing activities that are for the bedroom. But you are now doing it in a church or in a public place. That's now going beyond. But there's a place where it's okay and it's not going beyond the point. So for that one, let each couple choose what is good for both. Yes.
Yeah. Liz, do you have any? Because I can see you're really, it has really tickled you.
You know, for me, it's very interesting because I've sat with people and they're like, I believe, especially from my culture, they will say that if a man keeps calling you sweet names, if a man keeps telling you they love you, if a man keeps telling you all the sweet nothings, it means he's lying. And there are very many who I have met, and I wonder, okay, so how are you supposed to show affection? How are you supposed to, you know, show affection to your spouse? How are they supposed to hear it? And they don't have answers. They say, but I'm paying rent. I'm buying her house.
That's your responsibility, for example.
I've paid the school fees. That is where I'm showing love. And for me, I have a problem with that. It's more of culture, but that person is very genuine. But I say, there are moments that to a woman, the words mean so much. To a man, what they see means so much. So there are moments you need to tell her that I love you. There are moments touch is important.
Absolutely.
For example, you're driving and he just touches you and tells you it's okay. Maybe you're discussing something that is very deep and, you know, just by touch. Because there's something that happens when there's touch. There is also where you put your phone down, because I feel that is also physical. It's physical attention. Where you're in a restaurant, all of you as a family, but kila mtu ako kwa simu. Where you put the phone down and literally look at the person and listen to them. To me, that is physical attention and display that is very special.
All the focus is on you.
All the focus is on you. Then there's a way that a spouse will look at another in public or
and you're communicating love.
You're communicating love. There's a photo, there was a video, a small video that was going around. I think it is in Nigeria or something, I don't know, in West Africa, where the husband and the wife, they're seated together. I think they're leaders or something. And the wife is lost, holding the hand of the husband and just caressing the hand. And I don't know why the video pointed that, but there's a communication. Maybe the husband is feeling nervous, and so the wife is there just to comfort him, so that when he goes to the podium to speak, it makes a difference. Those are small things. It is not just the kissing and the hugging. There are some things that are subtle that we ought to show our spouses, because it feels and it shows that you are very important to me, and the world around me does not matter.
Actually, the world around you stops for them, isn't it?
Yes, and I think maybe couples think, tumezeeka, we don't need to do those things. But I want to encourage our viewers, please take time and do those things, because they build up on your relationship. Secondly is that when you stop showing intimacy, physical intimacy in the bedroom, and you expect that in the evening is when you're starting the physical intimacy, you're not how feel. I like saying me feel, because love is feeling the other person. Did you call them during the day? Did you message them during the day? Did you just like, I let me send her 1,000
And I
for
think
lunch.
it mostly applies to women, right?
Yes.
Because women are the ones who need that kind of preparation, like probably the
Of
whole
course,
day. They say
yes.
They're like the electric cooker. You know, it takes time to heat.
warm.
But the gas is just...
Yes.
Yeah, so...
Yes. So you see, like, during the day, how are you communicating with them? Did you send...
Are you thinking about
Yes,
me?
are you thinking about it? You can be like, let me send you 1,000 for lunch. And he's like, wow, it's just 1,000. Not
And
that I didn't
know
have
that
it.
yesterday probably you know, you had like a deal and you made
Yes.
some money.
Yes.
But I'll send you 1,000. It means
Yes,
something.
it is not that I need that 1,000.
No.
I could have the 1,000.
Yes.
But just because it came from you, it makes a very big difference. But when couples just stay the whole day, there are those days that you're so busy that time passes, but don't make it so many times.
It should be
and
habitual.
Be conscious that, hey, my person, my partner is important, and I can take a pause of 5 minutes, of 10 minutes, call them, SMS them, and communicate with them. To me, that makes the biggest difference. And also, if you have conflict, it's not easy to do those things, you know. It takes now more
extra
effort.
grace.
And that is where now I think when we say the vows, when it's bad or good, now it's bad. Unconditional love is shown during the bad moments, during the hard moments. It's not when everything is good. Apo hakuna unconditional love. Apo everything is afloat. But when things are ugly, when things are bad, is when you need the unconditional love. And for me, that is what matters the most. Put down your ego and show your love and concern to your person.
But now,
this person who has already hurt you.
Exactly. That is now unconditional.
So you said you put down your ego. And but I
wanted to add something.
Yes, Elder Nganga.
We must separate, because your question was on public display of love.
Yes.
We must separate that topic from display of love. And I'm in total agreement with her.
Yes.
There's no love if there's no display. There's no love. There's no way you love someone and you're not want to touch them.
Yes.
You not want to tell them some sweet nothings.
Yes.
That you not want to send something that excites her during the day.
Yeah.
But all those things can be done without the public. I don't know why people feel like it must be done for others to see. They are not the object of your love.
But sometimes...
So I wanted to separate the two.
Yes.
So there is a place for the public display. And it depends on your culture.
Yes.
But display itself, it doesn't matter your culture. There's no way you will be in love and not show it in touches, in language, in what you do. And physically, finally, there will be bedroom matters.
Yes.
But those come last. There will be many other ways you are showing your girl that you think about her, that you care about her. So I wanted to separate that and be able to say that is critical and important.
Yes.
Then there is the other subject. Out of all those, which one can you do for the whole church as a preacher? And which one can you not?
Yes.
And I said in my answer earlier, as long as the two of you agree how to do it, do it.
Yeah.
But don't force your spouse who is shy, embarrass him in public, so that others can see how much you love her.
Yes.
So the critical thing is not what people do. What does your spouse like?
Yeah.
Do it publicly.
Yeah.
Because then they'll be happy.
But what I'm trying to say is, you know, we cannot, you said we can separate these two, but I think emotional intimacy, like Liz said, is not just about, it's built up on those things. The PDAs, if we agree, isn't it? Yeah. So we're in agreement that, you know, those things can do that.
Oh,
but
yes.
my other question would be, you said, okay, you do this, but put your ego down. There's upbringing.
Yes.
There's previous relationships. Do you think these things, you know, play a role or a part in affecting or, you know, diminishing the emotional intimacy between two people?
I think you already started answering that.
Yes.
She said, all the things you are discussing are easy, and I'm quoting her, as long as things are moving on okay.
Yes.
You left in the morning, and he never asked you, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
So during the day, it's much easier to send text, to
call.
just whisper, hello. Just want to tell you I'm remembering you.
Yes.
Or something. This day. What about when there's a crisis?
Yes.
Let me give you 3 examples. The child is sick. So the attention of the mother
is on the baby.
Is on the baby.
Yes.
Number 2, you told her to do something and she actually refused. And you can tell it's not that she forgot, she just refused.
Yes.
Number 3, you are just about fired. In fact, you have just received your letter that you are fired. How do you display those? Then, of course, now you have added another one. Your personality or your background. That causes you to behave in a certain way.
Yes.
3 things. Number 1, whatever the description.
Yes.
Number 1, you must, and I'm using our words, you must love your spouse unconditionally. I normally quote the scriptures.
Yes.
The Ephesians chapter 5 commands love your wives. It doesn't say try to love.
No, it's a command.
It doesn't say when she cooks good ugali. Even when her ugali is like soil. Love your wife. It's a command. I keep telling people, people think there are only 10 commandments.
Yes.
There are one more. One of them is love your wife. Now, what that means is that in hell, some people will be there because they commit adultery, otherwise because they never loved their wives.
Yeah.
See, a broken commands. Both of you are broken commands. So you need to understand that in that situation, God commands you to love the person. The person who has annoyed you, the person
you must love them.
Yeah, the person who ignored you, love them. Number 2, please know that even this one, to use in King James English, will come to pass.
Yes.
The moment you know this thing will not last, at least in 45 years, I know that.
Yes.
It will reduce the intensity of your annoyance when you know it's going to pass.
Yes.
And when it passes, it will be embarrassing that you behaved like that.
Yeah.
It will help you to go through that thing because you know it will come to pass.
Yes.
I know she's annoyed with me, but it will come to pass.
Okay.
I know I'm annoyed with her, but it will come to pass. Then thirdly and importantly, if we are going through that kind of period, it's not only going to pass, but you need to ask yourself, what's my contribution to this?
Yes.
It's true, 80% she's the one to blame, but about 20, maybe the way I reacted, or what I had done before she reacted like that. What's my
You must have contributed something,
yes.
no matter how small it is.
So, if I were to repent my 20%,
yes.
although I know hers is 80,
yes.
it will make it easier for her to repent her 80 and will be reconciled and intimacy restored.
Okay, all right. Wow.
That's very good. I love where you touched on trauma.
Yes.
Because we behave the way we behave because of who we were.
Yes.
One thing I love to talk about is, what relationship do you have with yourself?
Yes.
Many of us, we have questionable relationships with ourselves. Now, leave alone the third party.
Yes.
How do you view life? Does your life always see the negative or does your life see the positive? Are you a positive influenced person? Because if you're on a positive level,
yes.
it means no matter what hardship you're going through in your marriage, at work, everywhere, you're able to see the glass half full. All the time you're not seeing it half empty. And you'll be able to solve things easier. Now, when it comes to the relationship you have with yourself, that cartoon, I keep saying, if there was a cartoon that pops up every time and says the things you're telling yourself, people would run away from you.
Yeah.
So can you imagine the things you're telling yourself? How much more will you tell your spouse? Secondly, yes, your spouse did a very bad thing.
Yes.
And they are wrong. And I love what he said.
Yes.
She's 80% wrong.
I'm 20.
And I'm 20%. The moment you feel so angry and so aggrieved and so you want to judge them so harshly and you want to punish them, what you're doing, you're taking fire and destroying your house.
Yeah.
Because you are so holding on into that pain. And as Elder has said, it too shall pass.
It shall pass.
But you have held on to it. And what it does, when you hold on to it, what will itazaa matunda?
Yeah.
Na hizo matunda, na hao watoto, you will not be able to handle them.
Contain,
and that is why it was a small mistake or even a big mistake, but the person has probably acknowledged.
It is how you handle
willing,
that now,
yes, but it's how you handle. And how you handle depends, I said, the relationship you have with yourself. Yes. The relationship you have with yourself is determined by your upbringing. What traumas did you go through? Because how we grew up is who we are as adults.
True.
And I say that how we are as children, is how we behave in the house when you're with your spouse.
Yes.
You will fight over remote control because of one wants to watch football, the other one wants to watch a soap opera.
Yes.
And literally you get so annoyed because he came, took the TV, the remote and changed channels. If you look at your children, that's what they do.
Yeah. And so there's no courtesy. Just because you're my wife, I think I can treat you the way I want.
Yeah.
Your relationship with yourself has a lot to do with how you relate with your spouse.
Yes.
Reason being is that how do I get angry? How do I react? How do I forgive? How do I show what we were talking about? How do I show love?
Yeah.
What are my love languages? And all this bring the cocktail of how deep can I get into this relationship? How quickly will I forgive?
Yes.
How quickly will I let go? Because maybe in your past, in your childhood, there was trauma around forgiveness. There was trauma about showing love. There was trauma about
expressing yourself.
And so you still hold it subconsciously. You're not thinking about it. But I want to address especially the couples that your spouse wronged you and you've held on it so long.
Yeah.
I have seen that really destroy marriages that would have otherwise not
been salvaged. Yeah.
It doesn't matter if for this square is the worst, he was adulterous. Let me tell you, I believe with all my heart that if you are willing, you can forgive each other and you can build the trust. It will take time, but you can build it. But the moment I, as a woman, hold on to it so negatively that every time I see him, I see the scene. I remember. Yeah. So I am so combative. I'm so aggressive towards it. What am I doing? Natia kuni. Natia kuni. Wanjiro in his office is there comforting him.
Yes.
What will he do?
Spend more time there. Yeah.
Because your fire, you're just aggression. You're just not appealing in any way.
Do you think friendship comes in here and helps you, you know, to pacify the situation?
Yes, because allow me to be angry.
Yes.
But I can't be angry for a year. I can't be angry for 3-4 months.
Yes.
And I am nil by mouth. Really, what you're doing, you're not helping that situation. You'd rather, if you're so angry, first go for therapy yourself. Let yourself understand, why is it so painful? Maybe it's because you saw your mom go through the same thing. So for you,
it's a defense mechanism, kind of.
So you feel it more. But probably if you went for therapy, you would be able to have it easier, see it differently, have a different perspective, and now be able to handle that situation.
But how do you handle someone who, for example, like you're saying, you've wronged me, you don't even ask for, you know, an apology, like Elder said. You're not asking for an apology. You look adamant. You look like the so what. So how do you deal with such?
Now, that's a very difficult situation, and I know many people would go through it. And I would say this. One, that person who is not apologetic or does not care, there's already a bigger problem than that event that happened. And the first thing is that you'll need now to really be the one to swallow the pride, you who wants the relationship to work. And find a way, how can I convince him that probably, how can
seek help, seek therapy.
How can we really discuss this matter? But what people do, they don't discuss the matter when they're happy. They want to discuss when everything is in a mess. And I call it a kitchen sink. You have guests. All things have been dumped into the sink. Which one will you wash? You will have to remove them zipangwe,
Yes,
then you
you
start
start
washing
glasses,
them.
whatever.
Now, what we do is that we want to solve and clean the utensils when we are very mad. There's no solution.
So it means here you've not been talking about your issues.
Yes.
You've not been discussing anything.
Yes.
You just, you know, and that's, I don't know if that has something to do with what you had talked before. Like, it's not about, emotional intimacy is not about sex, but sometimes people tend to solve their issues, you know, in that way. And do you think that is now where you sweep things under the carpet? Do you
Of course, because you'll be angry and then there will be a little touch here and there, and then you
forget about
and then
it,
you forget
move
about
on.
it. Now, what you do is that you've not solved anything. You'd better, now when you're in that good mood later, talk about it and express your feelings.
Yes.
Don't tell the person, you take me for granted. You are bad. You are this.
The accusations.
Don't accuse.
Okay.
Learn to say, I really felt disrespected.
Yes.
I felt hurt when you did one, two, three.
Okay.
But that subject you have raised is a big subject.
Yes.
And she has said so. All these things assumes two people willing to be together.
Yes.
If the men are many times the culprit, but even women are, if you have already seen another girl
Yes.
and she has taken your mind, you are just wondering, this baggage of a woman.
Umechoma.
How do I drop her? And you're going through a crisis.
Yeah.
She gets annoyed, you're even happy.
Because now you have time to go and do your
you
things.
do not want to be the one to leave her. You want her to be the one
To leave.
to leave you. And you'll be telling your parents,
Yeah.
I
She's
did
the one who
everything.
left.
I bought her a car.
Yes.
I did this. I don't understand women.
Yes.
But
Same.
the problem is your eyes are
Elsewhere.
Elsewhere.
Yes. Yes.
So you have to be very careful that you don't encourage that behavior as a woman. I love James Dobson's book.
Yes.
It's called Love Must Be Tough.
Yes.
And I encourage every couple
Tough
to read
love.
that book. Dobson argues, if somebody is having a sinful behavior, a bad behavior,
Right.
and you keep quiet, in fact, you show him how wonderful he is.
It is okay. Yes.
He refuses to repent, you will be a party to his sin. And the Bible says so. Don't be a party to... Because, you see, the moment you are supposed to be his pastor, your wife is always your pastor.
Yes.
Your pastor in church cannot do the kind of job your wife does.
Yeah.
So if she can see the direction you are taking will send you to hell. She doesn't say, but I'm not the pastor. You are the pastor.
Yes.
You must confront him with the truth. Now, when you confront him with the truth, and things get even worse, love must be tough means you don't leave the matter there.
Okay.
You may need to look for counsel. If he cannot go to a counselor, he is not willing. Do you have a mechanism that helps either his parents, either the best couple, everybody, if he can't listen to somebody else?
Yeah.
But don't do, when somebody has taken the wrong route, don't
support
encourage
them.
him to continue.
Yes, yes. There's something I'd want us to discuss before we come to the end of this show.
Yeah.
And I think it highly affects, you know, our intimacy, you know, and be it physical or emotional.
Yeah.
Relatives, families, in-laws. Do you think they have a role to play in our strive to just have proper intimacy, emotional and physical in our homes?
Obviously, yes. Especially when you have a traditional marriage,
Yes.
not a Christian one. Of course, many Christians, the girl is saved, the boy is saved, but their marriage is not saved.
Yes.
They run their marriage like any tradition. In fact, recently I wrote a book on it. Marriage, Christian or traditional.
Okay.
In a traditional marriage, the girl comes to your clan.
Yeah.
And you pay dowry. So it's a purchase. It's your property. So the in-laws, his own in-laws,
Yes.
believe you are part and parcel of their new clan. And they paid it to prove it. In fact, if your husband dies, the younger brother is already planning how to take you over.
Yes.
That's a culture.
Yeah.
That's a traditional marriage. If his brother comes to your house,
Yeah.
they place their legs on your
table.
sofa set.
Yes.
If you try to stop them, say, what's wrong with this woman? This is my brother's
Yes.
chair. That's
We
not
married her. Yes.
That's not a Christian marriage. But you
A
can see
traditional.
the in-laws are slowly destroying the marriage of their son or their brother.
Yes.
True.
There will be no intimacy when he comes home and you report what his brother did. He's a young man.
Yes.
Just leave him. That means he's not protecting his wife. It will kill intimacy.
Yes.
But if he is willing, as a Christian man should, to tell his brother,
Yes.
if you attended the wedding, you heard me say, I've given everything to this woman. So I have nothing in this house.
Yeah.
It belongs to this woman. Obviously, you know, you'll be reported in the village. Umekaliwa.
Yes.
You've been sat on.
Yes.
So, but if you take the risk of being told you have sat on and show your wife is your subject of protection,
Correct.
your in-laws will keep up.
Correct.
So what you are describing is in-law problems.
Yes.
Are not actually in-law problems. It's a man who has refused to grow
And
behave as a Christian.
and stand his ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we have just a few minutes to go. Maybe I will just have your closing remarks or tips how people can save their marriages, save their intimacy, emotional or otherwise. Either of you can go first. Liz?
Okay. I think what I would like to say is that physical intimacy, have something that you do either daily
Fantastic.
or once a week that for sure, no matter what, you will keep doing it till the day you go down the grave. Why? It becomes a commitment and a reminder. This person means the world to me. Have something. Doesn't have to be big. Something small that you do. Number two, always learn to say, as he said, the word sorry.
Yes.
Mean it. Be purposeful to treat the other person like you would love to be treated. And take it every single day, my purpose.
Yes.
Number three, love yourself. Have a relationship with yourself. That if you have a good relationship with yourself, it will easily fall into the other person. You will have a better relationship with the others. So the things that are disturbing you, spend time to work on them. Read books, go for therapy, love on you.
Okay, okay. Your closing
I also
remarks
say 3
in
things.
less than a minute.
Yeah,
Yes.
3 things.
Yes.
Number 1, emotional intimacy with a woman other than your wife is immorality.
Well said.
A lot of men argue, I never slept with her, you didn't have to. Only one woman. The Bible allows only one woman to have emotional intimacy.
Yes.
So be aware the other one is sin. Number 2, there is no intimacy without forgiveness. When you hear people have a wonderful marriage,
Yes.
it's because they forgive
lot
each
of
other.
forgiveness.
It's not that they don't hurt each
Yes.
other. It's they have learned how to. Number 3, if you really want emotional intelligence,
Yes.
the language of love is time.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I don't know if my director, could you add me like 30 minutes or so? Anyway, this was phenomenal. This was amazing. You're just a great panel. And thank you so much for today. And it seems, you know, building intimacy, you know, emotional intimacy is like a continuous journey, you know. So you have to keep working on it. You have to keep being vulnerable. You have to keep forgiving. You have to learn yourself, love yourself so that you're able to give out that love. And you've been told that you know, what my take home today is, even if you don't sleep with that woman, but you have an emotional intimacy with them, you're a cheat, okay? So change your ways. Find better ways, Christian ways of dealing with all these issues we've discussed, and keep on engaging us in all our socials. You know, the SMS number 20316 and the WhatsApp number 0786316316. And we'll keep on, you know, teaching each other, learning from each other as we wait for our next show next week, which will be absolutely amazing and phenomenal. God bless you and see you next time.